Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Gawrychh, the Unpredictable. Let's get into it! Well, let's start things off with a look at the packaging. Let's see if we can get the camera up a little bit. There we go. Here we have all the normal stuff. MythicLegions.com, SourceHorseman.com, StoreHorseman.com, and then the Mythic Legions Four Horsemen's logo right there. Nice big blister here showcasing majority of the figure and his accessories. So very cool. And you can see his faction logo on this side, which is the Order of Basilia. I think is how you pronounce it. Mythic Legions here at the bottom with a little bit of artwork going on there. Then on this side, nice practical photography of the character. It says his name, Gawrychh, and I don't know if I pronounced that correct or not. The Unpredictable. But if I did, I did, and if I didn't, I'm sure somebody knows how to pronounce it. So there's his bio. If you want to read through all that, please feel free to pause it right here and do so. Moving right along. Four Horsemen. Here's the cross sale of the Necronominus wave. And we have a big old picture of Necronominus himself there. And we got Necronominus, Sir Gideon Heaven's brand, Maxilius the Harvester, which we have covered previously. I can't remember this name. I can't remember this dude's name. And she is one of Necronomus's children who commands the skeletal animals or something. And then the Terpocoli, I think is his name. Baleluth, that's her name, I think. So, very nice. Again, there's the Four Horsemen logo. And there's all that stuff. If you want to read over that, please feel free to pause it here and do so. And then here's all kinds of credits down here for Mythic Legions. So, very cool. I like that artwork. So, there you have it, my friends. A look at the... Well, I was going to say figure and accessories, but a look at the packaging. That completes our look at the packaging, because that's what I usually say.
Let's talk about the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers. When we need them, we don't need them right this minute, so we'll just set them over to the side there. So first up, there's this hooked sword. I'm not sure what the official name of it is. It's got this nice silver shiny paint amp on it, and it's probably molded in this color, but lots of nice little design work in there on the handle. It's very nice. It has a port in the bottom, and I'll show you what that's for in just a minute if you can't figure it out or don't already know. But this piece can be used independently, and it can also be used with this staff, which has some nice runes on it, I guess it is. Some type of magical writings. And it looks to be painted all the way through. Even up here. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the way it looks to me. There's no swirly twirlies in the plastic, so I'm assuming you could use this just as like a walking stick by itself if you wanted to, or maybe there's an orb or something from another figure you want to fit on there to make it more magic-like, but as it comes with this release, these two go together. And again, like I said, you can use this independently, but it is made to go on this. So there's that, and it's quite tall. You know, it was even out of frame there. So next up, we come to two of these swords, and we've seen these swords in the line before. Nice silver paint app for the blade. We've got some gold here for the handguard, and then again at the pommel, and then some nice little, I guess, leather work. Not that it's real leather, it's plastic, of course, but leather work there in the handle. And again, like I said, there's two of these, and they're exactly alike, because Gawrychh here is a blade master, and he is a master swordsman apparently. So it also comes with two sheaths for these swords, and again, it's not something we haven't seen in the line before. Looks like it's molded in this color, and then we've got these nice paint apps on each end, and then a clip to put it into proper position. And again, there's two of these. They're exactly alike, and the swords fit in them and stay, well, I was gonna say pretty well. There we go. And then it falls out, of course. So not super tight, not super loose, so there's not a lot of paint scratching going on there, but it's a possibility anytime you put it in these hard sheaths. So next up, he has two extra hands, and they're kind of like the splayed finger, kind of reaching out hands, and they're on in and out hinges. And again, I think we've seen these before, but you know, look at all that detail on this, I guess, hand bracer, and it looks like it might have a little bit of a wash to it as well. And then, you know, nice molded details throughout. It's not showing up well. There it is. So very nice. And it's the left one and the right one. Other than that, you know, they're the same. So pretty neat. It's always good to get extra hands. Now let's see. Here we have his helmet decorations, and they're antlers, and we've seen these, you know, before. Nice molded details, and it does have a nice wash or maybe dry brush on it. And of course, where it plugs in. And there's two of these, and I wouldn't say they're exactly alike, because, you know, they're similar but not exactly alike. But as far as, you know, sculpted details and the paint wash or dry brush, whatever it happens to be, they're the same that way. And you know, when he's not using these in his helmet, you know, he can to attract deer if he's hungry and feels like eating venison or deer meat, whatever you happen to call it in your area, venison. So here's a new piece to me. It's not a new piece to the line, but I have not seen the cat people tail yet. And I will say it does have nice molded details in it. It does appear to have a wash to help those details stand out. And very cat-like, which it should, you know. And then it's got a ball joint on the end here. Then the extra heads, because he's a blade master and an illusionist. So he also comes with, I believe this is called the Gawrychh head, after Gawrychh Aether Blade. And nice colors on it. Nice wash as well. And again, the horns, the antlers can go in the side posts of these. So very cool looking. I like this helmet, this design. That color is pretty cool on it too. And now we have a cat people head, and it looks like it's wearing war paint maybe, but it's very, very cool looking. I like that design that's painted on the face. It's very cool looking. And again, it looks like it's got a wash to help some of that fur detail stand out. It's a little heavier there in the ears, but not too bad. Not like, when I say that, I mean, you know, it's not heavy-handed. It's, you know, it's more than what's on here, it looks like, but it's not too much. So very cool. Nice molded details as well. That's what actually sold, other than the price, because I got this guy on sale for 37 bucks at Source Horseman. So let's raise the camera up a little bit. Boop. And let's take a look at the figure, as this is how he came in the package, except for I forgot to pull these off before I started the review. They weren't on him. I did add these on, and these are, I don't know if they originally came from the Sun Wukong, the Monkey King set, but that's where I know these from. So it could be that that figure Obscura has these pieces from Mythic Legions reused on him, but that's where I first saw these pieces, was on Sun Wukong. And wow, look at all that molded detail and the paintwork, the gold around the eyes. It's just fantastic looking. And then, you know, we've got all this, and look at that face. It's a face only a mother could love. And we've got some nice paint going on here, some gunmetal here, some kind of gunmetal for these little plates. And he's got these straps. I don't think these were on him as well, but I put them on. And, you know, this overlay here. We got soft goods down here, and they are wired. And then under the soft goods, you know, he's got another little loin cape maybe, which I do believe is removable. And then look at that detail, the texture on the pants. And then I'm pretty sure we've seen these before. I don't know about this pants. I don't believe I've seen them before. And that same textural detail up here on the sleeves, but not, this appears to be different. So, but I think we've seen the shins before, at least I have. And then I don't know that I've seen these boots before. Paint for the straps, and then there's, you know, there's wash all over the place, just to help these details stand out. Now, if you're putting him into cat mode, there is the port for that ball joint. I don't know how well it's going to work with this soft goods piece, which, you know, this is removable. I want to say this lower piece is removable as well if you want to. And I mean, just look at all that detail. Four Horsemen really stand out. There's sculpts, and the detail in those sculpts and the paint, always fabulous. Range of motion, maybe not always there. So he can look up that high. He can look down that far. And he's got some chicken neck, it looks like. Is he on the ball and hinge? He is not on the ball and hinge, so I don't know how he's doing that unless the neck pieces move. Yeah, the neck piece is moving there. So there's that. He does have some waggle though. And he can do the full exorcist. Now the shoulders with these armor pieces on, it, you know, they can be cumbersome. So he will rotate at the shoulder without the armor piece 360 degrees, and again without the armor piece he can raise his arm up approximately 90 degrees, and you know, it kind of gets in the way on that too. I don't know if I'm gonna leave these on or not. I don't know. So single hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivels around 360 degrees, and it gives you a bit better than 90 degrees, not a whole lot. Oh, there's that. At the wrist, 360 degrees on an in and out hinge. And then same on this side, 360, and is it an in and out? Yeah, it's an in and out hinge as well. Then we've got that ball joint at the waist, and it gives him hula. He can lean left and right. He can lean back that far, which isn't way far, and then forward that far, which, you know, that's pretty good, especially for a dude with armor. Now, with all the armor and soft goods and stuff like that, let's see how much it gets out of the way. So he can give you the full splits. It does get well up out of the way. And then where the leg inside joins the outer portion, there's a little bit of swivel there, I think. Nope, it's not. So no swivel at the hip. He can kick forward approximately 90 degrees and back not so much. Maybe about a length of his foot, maybe a little better than that. Single hinge and swivel at the knee, and armor pieces do make it a little bit hard to get that full rotation. And then he gives you that much bend, so not quite 90. And then at the foot, they do twist around because they peg straight up in there. But at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far. So that's really good. And then he does also have a pin in there for rocker. Now again, like I said, if you're gonna use the tail, it pops in there. You might have to use a little heat. No, I got it in there. And then, well, I thought I had it in there. I might end up having to use some heat. So it'll go, if you can get it in there, stay, it can go up and down, left and right a little bit. So there's that. And then of course you can leave both of these on, or one of them on, or none of them on. But I believe I'm going to pull them off because it hinders this guy's movement way too much. And then, you know, he's got a sword belt here, so you can put the swords on here, or you can put them through these. And, you know, any way you want to do it, and you can pop either of the heads on, the antlers, of course. You know, these big ports here on the side of the head. And I don't really recommend leaving that blank because that looks kind of funky. And, you know, and you can put his staff blade not the easiest to do on camera. And it doesn't want to go in this hand all the way. So, there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Gawrychh, the Unpredictable Standard Edition, with the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Sir Gideon Heaven's Brand 2, the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Gorgo Aetherblade 2, and the Boss Fight Studios Epic Hacks Red Sonja. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Gawrychh, the Unpredictable Standard Edition, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee from the G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander from Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Gawrychh, the Unpredictable Standard Edition, I have to say this is a pretty good figure, and for its sale price, which I think it's still currently available for on sourcehorseman.com, is $37. And for, you know, the sculpt, the detail, the accessories this comes with, I think that is an excellent price for this figure. I originally wasn't going to get it, but once I started looking at that, the cat portrait that comes with it, I thought, man, that really looks fantastic, and I really want it, and that may be how I display this guy. I'm not 100% sure yet. I may leave him like this. I don't think I'm going to use the Gorgo head on it, and I don't think I'm going to keep the shoulder pads on it. But, you know, other than, again, I think it's a great value for what you get, and it's undeniably a great sculpt and great paint job and fantastic accessories with this, and it's you can't beat that price. So, you know, if you were on the fence about it and there's one thing you like about it, or if you're wanting to kind of give us, you know, you want to kick the tires on Mythic Legions, you know, this is a great figure to do that. If you wanted to not kick the tires on like a standard figure, something a little more than a standard figure, which this one is, you know, it's a great opportunity and a great price to do that. And as far as this character goes, you know, I think it's a cool idea. You know, he's an orc. He works for the, I think it's the Order of Basilia. I know it's Basilia. It's the magic folk on the good side. And, you know, he's a magician, or he's an illusionist, so he can, you know, make himself look like other beings in that universe. So that's pretty cool story behind this guy. And, you know, I wish there were, I know there's a couple of other helmet accessories like feathers and the bat wing looking things for the helmet, but, you know, that this is second or third figure I've gotten with the antlers, so I'm personally ready for something else. So, but I do believe, you know, that kind of makes sense. The antlers make sense for this figure, so there's that. So that's not, you know, it's not really anything to be upset over. I'm looking now to get a figure that has, you know, I've got one with the feathers and a couple with the antlers now. So now I'm looking for something that kind of has the bat wings like Rhaegar or something like that. Not that I'm going to spend, you know, that much to do that. Or maybe I'll just look for some parts. I don't know. You can do that with this line. You know, it's all based on mixing and matching. That was one of the core tenets that they built into this line is that, you know, stuff can be mixed and matched. So, but again, you know, it's a fantastic figure. It's a super price, and the only thing, you know, like the shipping, you might look at that and go, hey, that's a little high. But if you get more than one figure, it's not too bad. So, depending on which shipping option you go with, of course. But I like this guy, and again, I'm now debating on how I'm gonna display him. It'll end up probably being with this head on it. Maybe the cat dude. I don't know. We'll see. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.